Whoa, why am I so up close? I'm using a different camera. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me scoot the desk back. That's weird. I don't like being this all up in your face. Well, what's up, guys? Gun here. Is this content on my own YouTube channel? What the freak? Happy Thursday, July 8, 2021. Tonight, 7 games of baseball for the main slate on FanDuel and DraftKings going up against a couple of, I guess there's no finals or no NHL finals. We still got NBA finals, but it's just a couple days left before the MLB All-Star break, and then we're really sitting on our hands. I guess it's kind of weird. We'd actually have some NBA finals during the All-Star break. That's something rare to do. Normally we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs, but we do have several more days of baseball left before the All-Star break, so we're gonna do our due diligence here and try to break it on down. I know it has been some time since we've done a video right here on this YouTube channel. It is a crazy world outside of YouTube. So busy. Lots of business ventures outside of baseball, and I gotta be honest, man, the MLB videos, they don't get a ton of views, so it's easier to prioritize them less versus some of the other projects I got going on. And of course, most of you guys have been able to catch me a couple times a week on Osmo's channel, so you haven't been without me. But hopefully we'll be able to crunch out some more stuff as we approach the NFL season. Right now, my girl is actually gone for 2 weeks with her mom across the country, so I actually have a lot more free time. And in that free time, I don't mind pumping out some content here. So I'm going to try and do that. So if you guys do appreciate the content, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, like the video. And if you really want to show some love, one of the best ways to support the stream, support the site, outside of getting a VIP pass to RunDFS.com, is trying out Prize Picks, man. PrizePicks.com. Sign up, use promo code GUNDACKER. They're gonna match your initial deposit up to $100, I believe. And it's a really fun. I've been using them for my prop picks because I don't have sports betting here in Texas, but I'm able to parlay some really solid picks there, and I've been seeing some success in the Discord as well. So I like attacking the fantasy point picks for players and the fantasy point picks for pitchers and the strikeout props. So if you guys want to try that out, go to PrizePicks.com, sign up using promo code GUNDACKER, and I would surely appreciate that. Also, for the rest of this week, since it's All-Star week and only a couple days left, we took out a bunch of the VIP passes, and if you want to hang out in the Discord, get that spreadsheet throughout the weekend. $10 gets you in there. That'll really show some love. Buy me a couple of Bang 4-packs. I forgot to take the month pass down. Don't get the month pass. And then we did launch the end of year pass, $400. As you know, when football comes back, that's when we're really running and gunning. We're gonna have initially overlap of football and baseball through September and October. Then NBA scheduled to come back in mid-October. We don't have a date on that, or I couldn't find a date on that. And then it's daily run and gun, the daily streams, daily content, and that's when the monthly prices go way up, not way up, but versus what we got them at now. So if you guys want to lock in, there's an early bird special there. And yeah, is that it? Is that all the plugs? That's all the plugs. Let's get the plugs out the way. I'm watching the 9th inning of the Yankee game. Chad Green in to close it, save it, hopefully. And we're on to the next one. Blue Jays at the Orioles, going to start off today's slate. Keegan Aiken up against Alek Manoah. Manoah, really big price discrepancy. That's the first thing that jumps out at me is 10.3K on FanDuel versus 6.8K on DraftKings. I do want to preface this by saying it's early, but I am seeing some potential weather concerns. So, if you're taking some notes, notes, asterisk weather. Keep an eye on this one. We've definitely seen weather play a big part in DFS pitching the last couple days, and that could be a trend that continues today. Hopefully not, because I'll tell you what, Alek Manoah at 6,800 against the Baltimore Orioles, definitely something I'm going to have some of if weather permits. We've got 37 DKP in his last start against the Orioles, went 7 strong. This guy is electric when he's on, and at 6'8", what is the downside? I mean, if you get 16 or greater, for me it's kind of worth it, and I think the wide range of outcomes is favorable. It is, I guess, unsettling that he dropped 5.9 against the Orioles on the 19th, but he followed up with a bigger performance, 6 innings, quality start. I just think, I don't necessarily like to put high weight on the fantasy point production. I like to more so focus on the numbers. A 29% K rate, 13.4% swing and strike rate. ERA is probably outperforming his Sierra and expected ERA, but those are pristine numbers as well with a really good whip. So the Orioles are a team that I think are incredibly better against lefties than righties. In the last couple of days, they picked up a couple lefties, right? Steven Matz, Hyun Ryu. Today, up against Manoah, I definitely think the matchup gets a little bit harder. In his projected lineup, there's not an insane overall K rate, but they are striking out about 1 and 4. And at 6.8 K, it says, holy cow, what an opportunity at that price point. So I really hope the weather permits for me to get behind some Alek Manoah today, because I would absolutely be an investor at this price point. But it definitely looks like there will be some rain involved in this one, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Keegan Akin on the bump for the Orioles. By the way, Orioles have an implied run total of 4.5. Blue Jays at 6.6. So right now over 2-run favorites. That's gonna make Manoah minus 200 plus favorite if this game is a go. Keegan Akin a lot worse than Manoah. 5.14 expected ERA and a 1.68 WHIP. Just a 1 and 5 K rate right now, and allowing a high average and a lot of power to both sides of the plate. It's a nasty Blue Jays lineup. They were chalk yesterday against Matt Harvey, dropped double-digit runs, and I would imagine should this game go, they would be another trendy team to attack today. So really no pushback here outside of the fact that they likely trend higher owned than some of these other teams on the slate, unless weather kind of scares people off. So if weather permits, give me Manoah, give me the Blue Jay stacks. Do I get behind some Orioles bats here? I guess you can make a case that Manoah has shown some power problems to lefties. It's really not correlated with a high hard contact rate allowed, but a high fly ball rate, 41.3%. To really both sides of the plate. So if you think there are some upper echelon hitters in this Orioles lineup that can swing with a little pop, little power, maybe Cedric Mullins, Trey Mancini, somebody like that, they could be fun one-offs. But for the most part, right now, I think I'm going to be more of an investor in the Manoah side of things. Again, asterisk weather. Moving on to the next game here, Pirates at the Mets. Taijuan Walker looks like he's going to toe the slab up against JT Brubaker. Brubaker, $6,500, $300 less than Manoah, but far less talented, and the advanced metrics a lot less alluring. Both sides of the plate, he allows over a 1.2 home run per 9, but especially against righties, going back to the beginning of last year, a 1.64 to a 2.14 home run per 9 this season. Do the Mets really offer up a lot of righties that we're running from with power? Peter Alonso, yes. Maybe Lindor's been known to show a little bit of power, but not a whole lot. Last couple years, I guess a 213 ISO. I was looking at the OPS. 213 ISO, I'd take that. Anything over 200 is definitely something I would attack here. Against lefties, it's not like he's suppressing power, but you can see that there is a case that his home run per 9, which is 1.21 against lefties so far this season, has potential to go backwards because the ground ball rate's high, the hard contact rate's low. Usually if you put a 45.7% ground ball rate, a sub 33% fly ball rate, and a 23% hard contact rate together, you're not going to net and generate a lot of power, but a 1.21 home run per 9 thus far. So these numbers, which are pretty consistent with what he put up last year, would likely go backwards and look a little bit more like that 0.71 home run per 9 that we saw last year. So I don't necessarily want to attack him with lefties. I don't want to go too crazy with weighting Brubaker here as the starting pitcher and kind of avoiding the Mets offense because of because of Brubaker, because I do think this is a solid offense altogether. A lot of really good hit for average contact guys with enough power in the mix here that if they're able to get through to Brubaker and get into the bullpen, I do think there's some opportunity for the Mets to be an okay stack, but I'm not expecting a lot of runs out of this game. 80 degrees, 4.1 implied run total for the Mets, 3 for the Pirates, so just a 7 game total. There's definitely a world where you can stack pitchers here. 6,500 for Brubaker and then 68 for Manoah. That could create some fun tandem lineups at pitcher and give you all the money for bats. What's a reasonable range of outcome for Brubaker at 6.5? Could I get 20 plus? 20 plus I feel like is really what I'd like at this number to give me a shot at some tournaments. He's hit 20 plus twice in his last 10. As he faced the Mets, he has not. I think I'm not in love with it, but I can see myself having some exposure to it. Let's go pitch report. By the way, I don't think I've kind of mentioned it, but I believe since the last MLB video on this channel, I've dropped a new spreadsheet. If you guys follow me on Twitter, every now and then I've been tweeting out some free copies of it. But this is definitely an improved, revised version of the spreadsheet you guys saw in some of the other videos. I added a K factory, upgraded the pitch report and bomb detector, stuff like that. Looking at Brubaker, we're gonna get fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. So a lot of fastball, slider. Decent production against those pitches for the Mets overall. So it's just kind of like an extremely average spot for both sides. So I guess I'd walk the line on that. Taijuan Walker's a little bit more intriguing, as I think his name value might carry a little bit more ownership, just guessing out loud. A 28.7% K rate against lefties so far, a 24% against righties with an extremely solid ground ball rate, 44.2%. Hard contact rate is low, and there's a Taijuan Walker snub from the All-Star game narrative, pitching against a weak Pirates team. If you roster Walker, maybe don't get upset if he doesn't walk away from the first inning with a strikeout, but there's definitely some potential as you get through the Brian Hayes, Adam Frazier part of the lineup, where you can grab some strikeouts in the bottom half of the lineup. John Nogowski doesn't have a ton of at-bats right now, so I don't know if he's going to sustain a 15% K rate. And then the bottom of this lineup, Brubaker, Oliva, if he cracks that lineup, Ben Gamble, they all have some really high K rates. So you might be able to steal a strikeout per inning. At 8,400, could I get 20 plus with a win? I think it's possible. So early on, I definitely think this slate is setting up to have a little bit more pitching options or a little bit more confidence in taking chances on some pitchers versus tonight or yesterday's slate, right? So just to summarize a little bit of the Pirates lineup, would I want to grab any of the Pirates bat here? Is probably not. Can't really see the upside. There's only one guy with a 200 plus ISO. It's Brian Hayes. So you cherry pick him, you activate him in your optimizer. If he falls into some spots, he falls in some spots. But really can't see myself getting to the Pirates stack. Definitely not with any kind of ownership unless Walker pops up as obscene chalk, and I'm just looking for some what the heck leverage. Royals at the Indians, Danny Duffy, Zach Plesac. This is another game that might have some weather implications. Looks like this game has a little less risk than the Baltimore game does so far, but it still has risk nonetheless. I don't play weatherman, I just play analyst. So if you guys are taking notes, asterisk weather, Danny Duffy and Zach Plesac. We got Royals implied run total 4.3, the Indians 4.8, Duffy 7.4K on DraftKings. I really don't have a high level of interest or warm and fuzzies when playing him, but his ERA has been outperforming his Sierra and expected ERA. Sierra and expected ERA is not like astronomically bad by any stretch of the imagination, but there is definitely room for regression on that results number, that 2.6. A 26% K rate, a 14.2% swing and strike rate. I still think that there is potential that it just feels wrong that Duffy's not allowing a lot of power to righties, and that's just been something we've come to expect from him. The fly ball rate's still above 40%. He didn't really have a high hard contact rate last year either, but the fly ball rate and the line drive rate being what it is, you kind of expect a little bit more power. With that said, the Indians not really a team I go out of my way to scoop up exposure to. But against a lefty, I would partake in some Jose Ramirez, Framil Reyes, guys like that. So they'll definitely be in the mix for me. Like I said, implied run total is knocking on the door of 5. The bullpen for the Royals, average. They do walk a lot and allow more than average home runs, which is kind of saying something considering that they play in Kauffman after games. But this is really not a spot I'm running to. The Indians do have a lot of positive base running scores on their projected lineup, so maybe they steal some extra bases or steal some bags just in general to pay off a substack. But I'm probably not prioritizing them high. Zach Plesac, a 4.48 Sierra. His expected ERA definitely performing or projecting a lot better than the Sierra is, but there's no strikeout potential here. 16% strikeout rate on the season so far. Royals, I mean, they do have some high K rates from 4 through 8 in this projected lineup, a lot of over 1 and 4s, but something's got to give, right? Unstoppable force, immovable object. If you neutralize that, maybe cut all those in half expected. I don't know that Plesac gives me upside at 9K. This is an interesting time to feature the K Factory tab that I created. This is let me go to K Factory link, boom. This is a algorithm that I came up with to kind of project pitchers on a conservative strikeout estimate based on a per 10 pitch equation, I guess. So Zach Plesac coming into this game has a 21% K rate against lefties in the course of the last, I think it's the sample size is 2 years, 21.6% against righties. The K rate's actually a little bit better than the overall. Yeah, it's different to last year. So last year he had a 26% and a 29%. So I guess it would be the mean of both of those put together. So if I gave Plesac 80 to 90 pitches, well, shoot, he's coming off the IL. He threw 63 pitches on the 23rd. Ooh, he might just be completely off the table. I might just be wasting my breath. I'm going to go to MILB.com real quick and pull up Plesac. And if you guys ever see a hitter or a pitcher coming off of the IL, 99% of the time they're not coming straight from the hospital to the game, right? They've had some rehab starts. So in Plesac's case, he looks like he's had, we'll go to game log. Looks like he had a start on July 3rd where he went 3 innings and allowed 2 hits, a bomb, and a walk, 4 strikeouts. So strikeouts were over 1 per inning, but 3 innings in just 1 start makes me think that we're probably not getting a deep pitch count. So I think it's easy to say at 9K, I'm not touching Plesac here. I was gonna, for the sake of finishing the example though, this algorithm, like if I gave 90 pitches to Plesac, the algorithm looks at the K percentage for the pitchers and the hitters, the swinging strike rates, all that crap, and it calculates what an average median strikeout number would be. And if you went 90 pitches in this example, we might expect 7 strikeouts. But I would actually go for the under there, not necessarily just because I don't think he's getting 90 pitches, but because it looks like this is an extreme case of drop in strikeout rates. We have more sample size this season than we did last year, and his K rates have dropped considerably, 26% to 17% against lefties, and then 28% to 15%. So something happened. So in that case, yeah, I'm not playing Plesac for strikeouts, but today I don't think I'm playing Plesac at all. Behind him is a above average bullpen in terms of suppressing hits and power. If I'm playing the Royals, I'm targeting Whit Merrifield, Benintendi, probably Carlos Santana, definitely some Salvador Perez. He is a guy that his bat has been all-star level, 289 average against lefties, or against righties since the beginning of, I guess, this season. He didn't really play last year with that injury, and he's been hitting for power. So those are the main guys I'd be targeting. And because Plesac has been more of a contact pitcher before he left for injury this season, he was giving up a lot of power to righties. So if you suffered from power to righties and you can't strike people out, somebody like Jorge Soler, who has a 28% K rate, but a 260 ISO, if you can neutralize that K rate and dare him to make contact, that might be somebody that gets an elevated opportunity to hit a homer versus what you might usually expect from him against a pitcher with a decent strikeout rate. Royals implied run total 4.3. Like I said, Indians 4.8. Not a ton of juice on the table to be had. Don't think I'm rostering either pitcher, but I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up with some Danny Duffy if weather permitted in this game and weather did not permit in the Baltimore game. Just because at 7,400, I do think there's a range of outcomes where he could steal 20 plus DKP, but it's where I'm at now, it wouldn't be something I'm leaning on, but I could just see some stuff happening for him to end up in the pool. Moving on to the next game here, the Phillies at the Cubs. Zach Eflin taking on Adbert Alzolay. Phillies dropped a bunch of runs yesterday. Eflin on the bump, Alzolay on the bump. Implied run total for the Phillies 4, Cubs 4.1. Yesterday was a wind blowing in game, and this one is 2. And Zach Wheeler ended up being a highly sought after pitching hand that really just didn't deliver by any stretch of the imagination. Eflin comes at us with a staggering 22% K rate, a sub-4 expected ERA, a sub-4 Sierra. So there's a case to be made at 7,500 with some extra help from a wind gust blowing in, a ground ball pitcher to righties. Could thrive long enough, strong enough to get us 20 plus DKP, 25 plus. So I could see a world where he makes my lineup. I don't expect a lot of earned strikeouts, but I don't think it's crazy for him to steal a strikeout per inning, especially with the K rates of like a Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras, Patrick Wisdom, and the pitcher in the mix here. It's not a crazy range of outcomes, so I could see him in my pool from where I'm standing now. Looking at the weather, it's projected to be in the 60s, which is amongst the coolest temperatures that we'll find of any game throughout the league. So wind blowing in, cool temperatures could definitely steal some pop from the ball. So I could get behind some Eflin. Alzolay's been a pitcher that I've been playing probably more than I should. I feel like Alzolay and Alex Cobb are two guys that I play more than anyone else does, and I can see myself there again. I will say Alzolay's ERA versus Sierra definitely suggests some positive regression, but his expected ERA is higher than his ERA. So depending on what metric you trust the most, there is some discrepancies there. But a 1-4 K rate on the season does allow a higher than you would want barrel rate. And the Phillies have shown a little bit of pop as of late, a lot of power as of late. So I could understand not wanting to touch the stove while it's hot. I'll probably have some Alzolay, but it's just mediocre expectations, and I don't think I have to give up too much equity to have a stake in him and then feel like my stake is less than or equal to what the field is, because the field just hasn't been playing him. So I definitely have interest in both pitchers. If I wanted to make a case against or for a stack here, the Phillies bullpen has definitely been far more lackluster than the Cubs overall. If we go pull up this bullpen usage tab, I want to see if it picked up last night's usage yet. So we'll control F Phillies. Let's see, Wednesday I got De Los Santos, Bailey Falter as guys that pitched out of the bullpen. So on Tuesday we saw a lot of other guys, Alvarado, Brogdon. All right. Overall, their bullpen has definitely been lackluster. That might be a product of Citizens Bank Park as well, though. So I could make a case for this Cubs bullpen, or excuse me, for this Cubs stack. What? It's midnight. Eflin's weaknesses, if we look at this year and then compare it to like maybe last year, a 1.45 home run per 9 to lefty so far, 2.42 home run per 9. Again, hard contact rate, not what you would think it would be to sustain that type of home run per 9, but it's consistent, especially going back to 2019. But we did see a higher hard contact rate. Jock Peterson definitely could take advantage of that in the leadoff spot under 3K. Sometimes wind can scare people away from a good stack, and I think that's something that maybe we saw last night. Let me pull up the results from yesterday. Oh no, Phillies only had 3. The Cubs had 8 yesterday. I think Phillies went off the night before. The Nats went, or Nats are going off right now. Peterson 2 for 4. Yeah. So in the wind in game yesterday, we didn't see a homer from anyone but Andrew McCutchen. But I guess, 12 runs is definitely not what people expected. So it's definitely a spot we see a couple times a year where people can be pushed away from a game because of the wind or put on the game because of the wind. And baseball is a game of variance, man. Stuff that you don't expect to happen happens. If I were going to attack, let's say, 4 bats from this game, I think I want Jock Peterson against Eflin. Attack that power allowed. Say maybe Rizzo, and then Phillies against Alzolay. Alzolay has shown a lot of power allowed to lefties, 3.6 homer per 9 to lefties. Allows a lot of hard contact and a high fly ball rate as well. So that's right up Bryce Harper's alley. And then let's go look at the pitch report and compare fastball slider. Didi Gregorius actually hits the slider really, really, really well. So if Didi can get himself a slider, inside slider from a righty, he might steal one. So those are 4 names that kind of tickle me there. Let's move on to the next game. Twins hosting the Tigers. Tariq Skubal taking on J Happ. This game smells like runs scored, but the total not that much. 5.1 on the Twins, 4.5 on the Tigers. So 9.5 is your game total. First of all, any game that has J Happ followed by that bullpen could get crazy. I guess the Tigers just haven't been a powerhouse offense, but man, has J Happ been atrocious. A 300 average allowed to righties this season, a 2.21 home run per 9, just getting toe up from the flow up every time he touches the bump. And against lefties, he's not locked down either, 18.3%, but there's a world where he faces nothing but right-handed hitting today with several switchies like ex-twin Robbie Grossman, Jamer Candelario, and Willie Castro in the mix as well. So this is definitely a spot for the Tigers stack to maybe project better than the average spot for them and perhaps project better or higher owned than they ever would normally be. Just looking at the bomb detector, Jonathan Scope has a 415 rating on the bomb detector. Miggy's over a 445 on Eric Haas, 415 on Jake Rogers. Yeah, it's a big spot, I think, for the Tigers, and the Twins' bullpen has been very, very bad. One of the 117 home run per 9 plus, which is 17 points above average. So, good spot for the Tigers. I'll be there. I'm not touching J Happ with the 10-foot pole. Skubal also allows a lot of power, but he at least forces you to gamble on power versus strikeout because he does have a high strikeout rate, 28% this year, last year against righties, and 25%-ish against lefties. So there's a world where he can steal strikeouts and guys that project better than they should, right? Nelson Cruz is always going to project well against a lefty that gives up power. Same with Josh Donaldson. So I think the Twins are right there in the mix for me as a stack that I'm going to go after, but it comes with a lot more risk than I think the stack against J Happ, just because Happ is going to offer opposing hitters to put the ball in play more than he's not. So I love this game stack. I think 9.5 feels a little low from where I'm sitting right now. Only 72 degrees. I'd probably dabble with the over here. I think both bullpens are bad. I think 9.5 has room to go up based on confirmed lineups. And early on, this is probably a full-on game stack I'm into, and I'll be right there on the Tigers as well. One thing I'm kind of foreseeing here is if that Baltimore situation gets really, really tough weather-wise, I could see some ownership moving from the Blue Jays into this game, which might make me feel a little less salty because I was here first, dagnabbit. It is what it is. What are you going to do? When I got 2 games left on the docket, reminder, if you guys want to show me some love, and still gamble, still play some DFS, man. PrizePicks.com, man. You guys can hit up the K props, the fantasy point projections, the walks, hits, all that good stuff, plus NBA stuff. If you want to play some NBA, but you don't want to share first place with 800 people, just go make some 2, 3, 4-legged parlays based on their player props. You can bet player points, rebounds, assists, fantasy points. That's PrizePicks.com. If you sign up using promo code GUNDACKER, they're gonna match your first deposit up to $100. So why not slap a $20 bill on there? They'll turn it into 40, and you can have some fun and enjoy the games tonight, especially if you're gonna sweat the finals, right? Reds at the Brewers. Tyler Mahle against Adrian Hauser. Mahle is 8,700 on DraftKings, 8,900 on FanDuel. He's somebody that has been outperforming expectations for me, and I think this is going to be a spot where I definitely get suckered into playing him, perhaps more than I should, against the Brewers. Last couple games for him have been less than stellar in terms of return on investment, under 20 DKP, 17.9, 14.7, 13.7, but we're seeing the chance of going 100 plus pitches. He's gone 100 plus in 3 of his last 4 games. So there's a world where 30 plus DKP still exists, and because that world exists, I can't have none of Tyler Mahle, and I'm going to be there on him. The Brewer side of things, Adrian Hauser taking the bump. This game has an 8.1 total. So I'm looking at labs, and they're showing temps of 64. I would say there's still a chance that this roof gets closed and the game environment gets a little bit more neutral, but that feels really low as a total. 8 run total. The last 2 games feel low to me, so I think I can get behind. I don't know. I can see Mahle doing well. Mahle 34% K rate against lefties, 26% against righties. I think where I'm seeing the runs here is on the Reds side. So if you give me the Reds at 4, I'd probably take that now. So I don't know if you guys are seeing it. Like, I'm sure it'll be 4.5 when I wake up. But at 4, you give me 4, I can push at 4, and then profit if they go over. I'm there. There's just, it's a solid ballpark for offense, roof open or shut. It's a solid matchup against Adrian Hauser, who really struggles against lefties. 15% K rate since the beginning of last year against lefties. A 300 plus average allowed since the beginning of last year. Yeah, he has a high ground ball rate, but what does that mean? He's still allowing a 270 plus average allowed against lefties since the beginning of 2019. So I'm gonna say that there's a world where he just allows a lot of traffic. A 135 whip this year, 1.5 whip last year. I'm about to do something I never do, ever. I'm about to bring up some BVP. You guys know what BVP is. It's a very controversial topic, batter versus pitcher. It's not really quantifiable. It eliminates circumstances. It eliminates a lot. But every now and then I take a peek at it. I have a tab in the spreadsheet. At least mention Jesse Winker has hit 5 homers off of Adrian Hauser. 9 for 16 with 5 bombs, batting .563, 2 strikeouts. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So Jesse Winker's batting second. I would say it's far-fetched to assume that many other hitters have 5 bombs off of Hauser individually. So there's that. Joey Votto, Tyler Naquin, not guys I would hold my breath for a bomb, but it's not out of the range of outcomes. And then against righties, like I say, if we can get Hauser out the game early on, let me see how long Hauser's been lasting lately. 100 against the Pirates, but it's the Pirates. So I think the average game is probably 80 to 90. He's got 9 innings in 2 games against the Reds this season. A 6.75 ERA in 2 games with a 1.82 WHIP. There might be some value in that Reds money line right now. Not the money line, the Reds. Actually, yeah, the Reds money line is even money right now. But some value in the team total as well. Yeah, I'm not touching Adrian Hauser. I could play some Mahle, so the fact that Mahle is even money is kind of incredible to me. In some spots, he's listed as a slight dog, plus 103. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, because I would easily have the Reds favored here, but it is what it is. Castellanos is 5.2 on DraftKings, but 4K on FanDuel. He's the only guy that's really going to break the bank for you. I guess Winker's 5.3. Winker does have some extreme platoon splits. And there's also a world where like this Reds lineup doesn't look exactly like this projected lineup. We've seen Aquino in the mix, so kind of keep an eye on that. And then I guess if Tucker Barnhart's behind the dish, he's been really, really lackluster at holding base runners, and that's something to watch for. But I don't know. I would price this game like it is currently. One game left on the docket. Pause for the cause. Remind you guys, $10 will get you into VIP this week only because it's the All-Star break week. Go to rundfs.com. It says 7 days, but you'll be in there for 7 days, but we only have till Sunday, I think, for baseball. Normally I take Sundays off, but I'll probably do a little bit of Sunday coverage because, like I said, old lady's out of town, and I'll have next week off, so why not? Main event tonight, Max Scherzer against Yu Darvish. That's a fun night pitching game to watch. Nationals and the Padres last night. Nats dropped 15 runs on the Padres. So will the Padres look for some revenge against Max? We'll see. 3.3 is your implied run total on the Nats right now. 3.8 on the Padres. So not a whole lot of runs being offered by Vegas for this game total. You guys know the drill, man. Mad Max up against Yu Darvish. These are two guys that could drop 30 plus DKP any given Sunday, but now you give them kind of a positive park to go out there and pitch. And Scherzer 100 pitches or more in all of his last couple starts, except that one wonky start where I think he came up tight. So Max is going to have plenty of pitches to work with. Can he go 6+ innings, get you 10+ strikeouts? That's definitely a range of outcomes. I think the Padres matchup is I don't want to say overrated, but I've definitely seen some strikeouts in this lineup. Tatis could be neutralized with the strikeout upside of a Max Scherzer. And then Yu Darvish running it back here, 30+% K rate to righties for the last 3 years, and then knocking on the door of 28% K rate to lefties this season. This is not a high strikeout team by any stretch of the imagination for the Nats, but Yu Darvish is definitely somebody that can exhibit good run prevention skills and really just kind of limit offense. So you can't expect a lot of run production here. You might get yourself into a couple of hedge stacks and leverage stacks depending on what the ownership for either pitcher ends up being as we get closer to lock. And it's just whatever happens. I always think there's always a reason to get behind some Padres stacks because they are very aggressive when it comes to base running. So even when they're not hitting homers and they hit for solid power, at least the guys I usually target, the Tatis, the Machados, guys like that. But when they do get on, whether it be hook or by crook, right, fielder's choice, and the guy gets on first base or a walk, a single, something like that, they still offer stolen base potential. So they're going to be aggressive, and I think that's something that's really, really rewarding and something I appreciate in a stack. So that's why I do like the Padres. So not necessarily saying stack against Max, but if we see decent to high ownership for Darvish or Max by the field, and even in our own lineups, if you're on 100, 150 and you're ending up with 30, 40% you and Max, it's not going to cost you a lot of equity to at least run it back with a couple hedge stuff. So if they blow up and get blown up, maybe you have got a couple of Cinderella lineups floating up there for a little potential, right? So that's the nightcap here. Definitely think Yu Darvish and Max will be two guys that I have at minimum tier 2, likely tier 1. I mentioned I could create justification for the Plesac, the Alzolay, Walker I don't hate, Brubaker I can get to, and then based on the weather, Alek Manoah looks really, really nice at 6,800 on DraftKings, and that's it. 7 games, real simple. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for you out of here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe. It's really, really easy. It costs you nothing. Later on today, don't quote me on the time, but I'll be on the Awesemo channel before lock reassessing the situation. We'll have more information on weather. We'll have confirmed lineups. We'll have ownership projections, all that good stuff. So be sure, if for whatever reason you don't already subscribe to the Awesemo channel, go subscribe to Awesemo's channel and look out for me before lock later today. I want to say it's 4 or 5 p.m. Central my time, but follow me on Twitter, follow him on Twitter, and you'll know for sure when the time comes, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Hopefully we got ourselves a solid foundation on today's slate, and hopefully we'll be back tomorrow for another quick breakdown video.